Question number 4, Moanna Mackey.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Housing and asks, on what date did he make the decision to reverse the previous Labour government's commitment to the Tamaki community that the Tamaki Transformation Programme would reduce the concentration of state housing in Tamaki but not reduce the existing number of state houses?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, I don't direct the Tamaki Transformation Board. It's a partnership between Government, Council and the community. It does not direct Housing New Zealand, which is a separate entity. However, the Tamaki Transformation Board does support the corporation's moves, and so do I. Subdividing large sections, upgrading brand new houses and reducing the concentration of housing in Tamaki below 56% is sensible. So is increasing state house numbers by 1,400 right across Auckland, including Central and East Auckland.
Moanna Mackey.
Has a decision been made to renege on the commitment made by the previous Labour government to not reduce the number of state houses in the Tamaki Transformation Project area?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, it's very clear that a decision has been made by Housing New Zealand, which I support, to increase the number of state houses in Auckland by 1,400, in Tamaki to reduce concentrations of state houses below 56%, so there's not one in every 2 houses a state house, to rebuild state housing in Tamaki and elsewhere. We're reducing the number of state houses in Tamaki, we're subdividing sections, and we're reducing the concentrations.
Moanna Mackey.
Then why is the commitment to not reduce the number of houses in Tamaki still on the Tamaki Transformation website in a document dated 19th March 2009 when he was Minister, stating that while the proportion of state housing would reduce, they would be retaining at least the absolute number of state houses, still on the website today?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Well, Mr Speaker, that might be exciting for members of the opposition, but I've been saying for the last few days, and just so people are clear, we're no longer having quarter-acre sections in Tamaki. We're reducing the concentration below 56%. We're increasing the number of state houses across Auckland, and we're getting rid of the old and cold and mouldy ones. Have I made myself crystal clear about Tamaki and Auckland?
You lied to them.
Moanna Mackey.
Supplementary to the Minister.
Order. I want to hear the question, Moanna Mackey.
Does he realise just how much time and effort went into consulting with Tamaki residents to develop a comprehensive plan that they were comfortable with, that reflected their vision for their community, which was handed to him on a platter at the last election? And if so, why has he arrogantly reneged on that commitment to not reduce the number of state houses?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, it has been the previous government's habit, it was, for years to consult year in and year out and do nothing. Essentially in Tamaki we are building new state houses on subdivided sections. First home buyers will be able to buy other sections. Community housing organisations will also get involved in Tamaki, but we are no longer going to have excessive numbers of quarter-acre sections in Tamaki, and we're no longer going to have state house concentrations of 56%.
Moanna Mackey.
Why then did National candidate Sam Lutuainga promise before the last election in the Eastern Bay's Courier that, quote, the aim is not to reduce the number of state houses but the percentage?
The Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, right across Auckland we're increasing the number of state houses, including in Central and East Auckland where Tamaki is. I think the member has to realise we've got a difference of view here. We don't believe that state houses should be on hundreds, if not thousands, of quarter-acre sections in concentrations of 56%. We believe the state housing stock needs to increase in Auckland, it will, and we believe that it needs to be upgraded, and that's what we're doing. If you don't support that, if the members don't support that, that's fine. Let's go to the election with that view, and let's go to Tamaki with that view.
Point of order, point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I was somewhat surprised that the question was allowed through, but you having ruled that it was in order, Mr Speaker, I think there's a requirement on the Minister to address whether or not he supported the members, the current members' commitment before the election.
Well, I think the Minister did answer that because he...
Say no.
No, order. The Minister said it was his policy to increase the number of state houses in Auckland. I believe that was part of the question that no, it might have not mentioned Auckland, but didn't mention any area, if I heard the supplementary question correctly. And where it referred specifically to concentrations and number of houses, it didn't actually mention an area. And the Minister, in my view, answered that. Question number 5, Dr. Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister.